Everything has a beginning and an ending. The introduction is the beginning of a sales presentation. How could I end the sale in the shortest space of time in a manner that would make the prospect happy? Because I searched, I made a discovery. If you want the prospect to buy, ask him to buy. Just ask him. And give him a chance to say yes. But make it easy for him to say yes and difficult to say no. Specifically, use force with such finesse that it is subtle, pleasing, and effective. And here's what I found. If you want a person to say yes, just make a positive statement and ask an affirmative question. Then the yes answer is almost a natural reflex action. Examples. 1. Positive statement. It's a nice day. Affirmative question. Isn't it? Answer. Yes, it is. 2. Mother who wants a child to practice the piano for an hour on a Saturday morning when she knows that the child wants to go out to play. She could say, positive statement, you want to practice for an hour now so that you'll have the entire day to play. Affirmative question. Isn't that true? Answer, yes. The effective close I found is just as simple. Positive statement. So if you don't mind, I'd like to write it for you also if I may. Affirmative question. May I? Answer, yes. The stories of my experiences in the Diamond Bank building indicate the techniques I use to begin to develop my sales system that never fails, and why I use them. I was searching for the necessary knowledge for each step that would comprise the entire sales presentation. I was endeavoring to acquire the know-how, the experience of using this specific knowledge through repeated action. In brief, I was preparing myself to develop the habit of using a formula that would consistently obtain outstanding results in sales for me in the shortest possible space of time. Although I didn't realize it then, I was, in reality, getting ready for tomorrow. For some years later, I discovered that my sales system employed principles that are the common denominator of continuous successful achievement in every human activity. And thus I made a greater discovery, the success system that never fails. What does it mean to you? Health, happiness, success, and wealth can be yours when you understand and employ the success system that never fails. For the system works if you work the system. As you search for the success system that never fails, you will make faster and more permanent progress by keeping in mind the 3 necessary ingredients, which are, in order of their importance: 1, inspiration to action, that which motivates you or anyone else to act because you want to. 2, know-how, the particular techniques and skills that consistently get results for you. Know-how is the proper application of knowledge. Know-how becomes habit through actual, repetitive experience. 3, activity knowledge. Knowledge of the activity, service, product, methods, techniques, and skills with which you are particularly concerned. It takes less work to succeed than to fail. The use of energy is work. When you or I engage in any activity whatsoever, energy is used. To concentrate your energy on a given task, focus your attention on it, and don't waste your efforts needlessly. Simple as this may seem, that's how you acquire activity knowledge, know-how, and inspiration to action. And that's how I develop my success system that never fails. When you do something, put your heart into it. Give it everything you've got. Then relax. Concentrated attention and effort, then relaxing, became a habit with me shortly after I started to sell accident insurance. By concentrating my efforts on the sale of just one accident policy, I learned almost all there was to know about that one policy. And I learned from experience what to say and how to say it, what to do and how to do it. to sell in tremendous volume. I gained activity knowledge and know-how. I learned how to develop inspiration to action at will. In a sense, like a scientist, I learned from trial and error, trial and success. For I firmly believed that I could develop a memorized sales talk and an organized sales plan that would make sale after sale a possibility. In another sense, like an actor, I could put feeling, emotion, and timing into my memorized talk. When you go to the theater and see a great actor, it never occurs to you that someone else wrote those lines. You may not realize that his actions as well as his words are the same at every performance, for he lives the part. I not only live the part when selling, but also developed the script, and like a good playwright, I improved it at every opportunity. Unlike the playwright, I changed the sales talk to meet changing conditions, but what was said became standardized for such occasions. Thus, if I were interrupted in the beginning of the presentation, I would use one of my standard jokes to relieve tension, rather than give the joke later in the talk as I had originally intended. Work? Yes, it was work, and I had many battles to win over myself, and that was work too. But that was good, for I searched for techniques to control my feelings and emotions. There were times when I used to wonder whether I would ever overcome the fear of calling on the owner or president of a large bank or department store. But I found that conditioning my mind using self-motivators and the simple technique of keeping on trying helped me. The day eventually did come when I could call on the head of a large institution in New York, Chicago, or elsewhere without a feeling of fear, for I had become the product of habit. Like the scientist who finally discovers the success formula for which he is searching, and the actor who lives his part, I found that by doing the same thing, the same way, I developed consistent results. And like the scientist, I found that time was an important ingredient in every formula. Nothing stands still. There is constant change from within and from without. If you should concentrate the rays of the sun through a magnifying glass on one spot on a fallen log, you'd start a fire within a few minutes. Yet the sun could shine for decades on the same piece of wood, and it wouldn't ignite without the glass. In time, under ordinary circumstances, it would merely decompose and become part of the earth. Similarly, with you and me. It takes time to succeed. It takes time to fail. But it takes less time to succeed than to fail. We can clearly understand this when we consider continuous success, an entire career, the span of a life. For it takes less time to succeed when you do the right thing rather than the wrong, when you work the right way with the proper knowledge, effective techniques, and inspiration to action, for then you have a success system. You may work the wrong way or do the wrong thing and temporarily succeed by accident, or by virtue of the conditions at the time. You may even stumble on the right system and momentarily succeed, and then lose the system and fail because you don't reduce the principles of your temporary success to a formula.